Hello everyone, welcome to our session Secrets of Mastering Self-Control. This is the fourth part of our course Value Education for Teens. So today we'll be discussing very important concepts of self-control. So what is meant by self-control? So I will be, before actually we start, we'll actually offer a few prayers. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmaya Shri Gurave Namaha. So, what is meant by self-control? Many years ago, a scientist named Walter Mischel, he actually did an experiment in 1960. So that was a very famous experiment, in which actually he called 653 students, 653 small children of age 4 years, and he told them that I am giving you a marshmallow. Marshmallow is actually a sweet, which actually you are able to see on the screen. That is actually a sweet, which is actually very tasty, very delicious. So these small children, 4-year-old children, were asked that I will give you one marshmallow now, and you have to wait for 20 minutes. Till 20 minutes you don't eat, and if you don't eat till 20 minutes, I will give you one more marshmallow. So then he found that most of the students within 1 minute, because actually when the experiment started, most of the kids within 1 minute, they actually could not control themselves, and they started eating the marshmallow and completed it. And only 5% of the students, they could control themselves, and they waited till 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, the researcher came, Walter Mischel came, and he gave them one more marshmallow. Right? So this continued, and Walter Mischel was a very intelligent researcher. So after 20 years, he wanted to see how these people, because these 5% of the people, how they behaved, what happened to them. So at 1980, he found that the 5% of the students who were able to control themselves, they actually found that these people were becoming very successful in their careers. They were actually becoming very successful entrepreneurs. They were successful in their studies, and they were actually very efficient in their work. Right? They were leaders. They were leaders in the society. So we can understand from this experiment that what is that importance of self-control. That self-control is very much important. A person who knows how to control himself, he can actually will be able to do much more in the future. Right? One who does not learn this art of self-control, actually he has to lose a lot of things. Right? In Bhagavad Gita, it is told, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells about 20 items of knowledge. Well, if a person is considered to be knowledge, he should have these 20 items. Among this, it tells about many things: tolerance, simplicity, virtue, surrender to God, and many other qualities. But among them, he also gives one quality, one item of knowledge, which is self-control. So this is very important item of knowledge. So if somebody is considering them to be knowledgeable, somebody is considering to be very intelligent, he should have this quality of self-control. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita 3.36. So Arjuna asked to Krishna in the 3rd chapter, Atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purusha anichchanapi vashneya baladiva niyojitaha. So Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled? By what one is impelled to commit sinful activities, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. So this is very striking statement which actually Arjuna asked. This is not only the condition of Arjuna, this is a condition of each and every person in this world, because we see that everyone is impelled to commit sinful activities. sinful acts, even though he does not want to do those activities, still he is impelled to do those activities. And what impels them to push them to do those activities? Because we don't want to do wrong things, but still sometimes we are forced to do wrong things. We are actually pushed to do wrong things. People don't want to do wrong things, but still they are forced to do wrong things. Why? Who is forcing them to do wrong things? This is a very intelligent question, because the question comes to each and every one of us. Let us see what is the answer given by Krishna. This answer will make clear where the problem is lying. So next, Krishna says, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajo guna samudbhava, Mahashano mahapapma, Vidyena vairinam. So Krishna tells, O Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna. It is lust. So what is the problem? It is lust, which is born of the contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed to wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So Krishna tells, the Supreme Lord tells that what is the problem? Where the problem lies? Problem is lust. So the lust is the problem. If you know what is the problem, then we can find also the solution. So then Krishna tells that lust leads to wrath. Wrath means anger. When a person is lusty, when a person is having a lot of desires for enjoying, and when those desires are not fulfilled, for example, if I want to satisfy some desires, but if they are not fulfilled, so what the person does? The person becomes angry. The person becomes angry because his desires are not fulfilled. He becomes angry, right? So when the desires are not fulfilled, the person leads to anger. But let us say when a desire is fulfilled, what happens? For example, I give someone a rasagulla or a gulab jamun, right? And he likes the rasagulla, he likes the gulab jamun very much. But later on, he wants it more. He wants more because he likes the taste, he wants more. And he asks for more and he takes more. And you can give him a load full of 10-15 gulab jamuns. If he likes gulab jamuns, he will be happy to take 10-15 gulab jamuns, because he has, when the lust is satisfied, it leads to greed. It leads to greed. And when the lust is not satisfied, if for example, if somebody says, I want gulab jamun, and you say, no, gulab jamun is not for you, it is only for your actually friend, like it is not for you, only for your sister, only for your brother, it's not for you. Like, no, you'll become very angry, right? Because your desires are not fulfilled, you'll become angry, right? So that is the problem, that in this world, when the desires are not fulfilled, it leads to anger, and when the desires are fulfilled, it leads to greed, more and more, right? So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, lust, anger, and greed are the 3 gates to hell. If somebody wants to know the address of hell, that what is the address of hell, what is the pin code of hell, so this is actually the address of hell: lust, anger, and greed. So if somebody having these qualities, desire of lust, he has anger, he is getting angry, and he is very, very greedy for more and more, he is actually the perfect person who can actually go to hell. Like, he is a perfect eligible person, qualified person to go to hell, right? So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 62 verse, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa Sangasteshu Prajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Krama Krodho Vijayate Krodho Bhavati Sammohat Smriti Vibhrama Buddhinasha Pranashyati means destroyed. A person is destroyed. But where this actually Krishna tells a process of destruction. How a person is destroyed in this world, Krishna tells. So here let us read. When a person contemplating on an object, first of all a desire comes. For example, I see something and I want to enjoy it. For example, a boy sees a girl and he feels that, oh, girl is so beautiful, girl is so looking so nice. And or somebody actually looks into some very tasty food, like let us say some samosa. Like, first of all, he contemplates in the mind that, oh, I like this, I want to have this, right? And everybody has some desires. It's not that people don't have desires. Just like a small child has a desire for balloon, has a desire for balloon. But when a person becomes big, he may not like the balloons, but he may be looking for something else. Like for example, when a person after some time, when he becomes 10 years, 15 years, he likes to play with friends, and after some time he likes to actually roam around with friends in bikes, like after 15 years, 20 years, and then after 20 years, 22 years, he likes to actually have some girlfriend. He runs after, flirts some girl and all those things. He wants to have a girlfriend, or a girl wants to have a boyfriend or something like that. And after that, he wants to have a marriage, and after marriage, he wants to have children. And then, or a person wants to have a good job, high-paying job, and when he gets into job, he wants to have a big position. Like desires never end. In the childhood, he was just looking for just a balloon, 1 rupee balloon. But now his balloon changed. He wants now something else. He wants to have a big position. He wants to become CEO of a company. He wants to actually earn millions and millions of rupees. He wants to have luxurious homes and all those things. So desires change, but ultimately, if you see on the background, on the ground level, desires are there, right? So when a person is contemplating on any object of object of senses, like for example some object, rasagulla, gulab jamun, or some girl, or some position in the company, or some power, like that actually is called contemplation. When a person contemplates on that, a person develops attachment from them by contemplating again and again. Just like a boy contemplating again and again, he gets attached to a particular girl, right? That is called Dhyayatu Vishayan Sangaseshu Prajati. He develops a desire to associate with them. He wants to actually have a friendship association with them. And then from that attachment, lust develops. And when the attachment develops, a person develops kama. Kama means desire to enjoy. And when the lust develops, and when the lust is not satisfied, when the girl rejects, for example, a boy writes a love letter or something like that, message, something like a boy sends a friend request in the Facebook, or girl rejects. So he becomes very angry, satisfied, and from anger, delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. So when a person is illusion, he forgets everything. All good instructions he forgets. Right? He does not know what he's doing. He forgets all the good actually samskaras he has learned. And when the memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. When a person loses his good memory, then person actually loses the intelligence, that what discrimination between what is right, what is wrong. And when a person intelligence is lost, then one falls down again into the material pool, right? So when a person loses his intelligence, and again he falls down to some material pool, some actually gets addicted to so many bad things, he actually commits actually some killing. He starts become angry and start killing others, or something like that. A person is not satisfied, and desires are not satisfied, whether he will kill others or whether he will kill himself. He commits suicide or whether he will do like that. So that's a problem. So we have to understand. So let us try to revise what we just discussed, and then we just study some tips to actually improve our self-control, right? So till now we have discussed that actually the real cause of that problem, that actually we are not able to control our senses, is because of lust. And then we have seen that how this lust actually leads to so many problems. Anger, lust leads to greed, lust leads to contempt and degradation, ultimately cause destruction of the person. So now let us see how to control senses. And to control our senses and to master our control of senses, we need to have two aspects. What are the two aspects? Two are do's and don'ts. So what is this don'ts? Let us see what are the don'ts, right? So what are the don'ts is strongly say no to distractions. We should learn the determination to say no. We should learn to say no to wrong things. That first thing we have to learn, right? When we don't learn to say no, then actually it leads to a lot of problems in the future, right? So nowadays actually we'll go deeper into the real problem, and we'll discuss some of the practical aspects. Like one by one, actually we'll discuss some distractions people actually feel. Actually, recently somebody commented in the comment box that actually they wanted to learn about the problem of masturbation or like pornography. They are actually addicted. So, and they're saying that some people are saying that this is recommended by the many of the. Let us see whether what the scientists say is right, or what are the psychiatrists. People say that it is okay with masturbation, it is okay with actually watching pornography, it is natural. Then let us see. So Dr. Nicolay, he did a lot of research on this thing, and so he says that it is a medical and psychological fact that the best blood in the body goes to form the elements of reproduction in both sexes. The point is like what this Dr. Nicolay is saying, that the semen actually is the best of the product of the blood. Right? So blood actually, when it is said that in Ayurveda it is said 1 drop of blood give rise to, and actually it is formation transform into 80 drops of blood transforms into 1 drop of semen. So after 80 drops, it actually transforms to 1 drop. So you can imagine what is the 1 drop value of semen. It is actually equal to 80 drops of blood. Right? And according to the modern science, the calculation is something else. According to the modern science, it is 40 drops of blood gives to 1 drop of semen. And they say that in a pure and orderly life, the matter is reabsorbed. For example, somebody has a semen in the body. The semen is actually available in all the cells. It is actually present in all the blood cells and all the actually body parts. But when actually person gets agitated, when a person wants to masturbate or lose the semen, then actually it is all the semen is collected. Just like, for example, in a milk there is a butter, and it is actually evenly kept. But when you actually make it a buttermilk, and you can remove the butter. So similarly, the semen is available, just like sugar in the sugar cane is available throughout the sugar cane. But actually, when you remove the sugar cane and you actually take the essence, then all the sugar comes out. Similarly, the semen is present throughout the body in all the cells. But actually, when a person actually gets agitated and a person wants to remove that semen, then that semen gets collected in the genitals, and then it is actually removed, excavated from the parts. Similarly, you can understand that it is present. The semen is actually present throughout the body, and when a person actually controlling his senses, when a person does not actually lose his semen regularly, then we can see that semen is actually reabsorbed in the body, and it goes to the brain, and it goes to different nerves, it goes to different muscular tissues, right? So it goes to different parts of the body, and it goes to the brain especially, and it makes the best quality fine tissues of the brain. So best quality fine tissues of nerves and brain are made by the semen which actually come in. This is actually a scientific research. I am not just telling from the Ayurveda, I am just directly telling from the scientific research that this is actually, and the vital fluid of man, when it is carried back and diffused to the system, makes him strong, manly and brave and heroic. When a person is actually controlling the semen and it actually reabsorbed in the body, then actually it leads to a person becomes very, very strong, because the semen is very, very powerful. Actually, it makes a person very strong. That's why it's called virya. Semen in Sanskrit, it's called virya. Virya means you can say another word of virya is like bravery, heroic, all this quality. So if wasted, it leaves him effeminate, weak and physically debilitated, and prone to sexual irritation and disordered functioning, a wretched nervous system, epilepsy and various other diseases, and death. The suspension of use of the generative organs is attended with a notable increase of bodily and mental and spiritual vigor. So similarly, it leads to, when a person actually loses it, it leads to a lot of diseases. Many people actually have this misconception that actually it's good to lose. Actually, many of the psychiatrists also mislead. Many of the doctors also mislead the patient, saying that, oh, it's natural in this age, everybody has to do, because they themselves are very much addicted. So they also say that, no, okay, you can also do, no problem. But actually, this is actually misguiding people. Actually, we have to understand this very important point, that we have to preserve this very important element, that is actually semen. And when we preserve it, it actually leads to a lot of good qualities. And when you don't preserve it, when you lose it, then a person becomes weak. His immunity decreases, his memory power, his concentration decreases, and various other things like his determination, willpower decreases. So all these good qualities, they actually decrease. So this is actually the science behind this, right? And as a result, the more patient and preserve, actually many of the scientists have done this experiment, and they found that a person actually, when it controls the semen, then mind becomes very strong, brain becomes very strong. And another scientist, Dr. D.O. Lewis, he says that conservation of this element is essential to the strength of the body, vigor of the mind, and keenness of the intellect. If a person wants to think very deeply, he needs this, actually very importantly, he needs this element in his body. Another writer, Miller, says all waste of spermatic secretions, whether voluntary or involuntary, is a direct waste of the life force. It is almost universally considered that the choicest element of the blood enters into the composition of the spermatic secretion. So according to all the scientists, it means that actually most essential part of food, most essential part of blood to actually become semen. And when a person controls the semen, and he actually sees that it leads to a lot of good qualities. Not that losing is good. Actually, controlling and conserving it is good, right? Just like you don't want to waste your blood, right? Whenever the blood actually hand gets cut, you put tries to put a bandage to want to stop blood. Similarly, we don't want to waste blood. Similarly, blood is actually 80 drops. 1 drop of semen is equal to 80 drops. You can imagine how much wastage is done. People actually nowadays, people get addicted to these habits, bad habits. Right? And it is said semen is found in a subtle state in all the cells of the body. I was telling about this. I just explained about this. And mind, prana, and virya. These are the three things. Mind means man, and prana means life air, and virya. So all this actually form a triangle. They actually form a chain link, and each one is depending on the other. If a virya, if the semen actually is decreasing, virya actually decreasing, what happens? The mind and prana becomes weak. The life force, the ability of a person to live long, ability of a person, vigor actually decreases, prana decreases. When a person's virya, semen decreases, mind, the ability of mind becomes weak. A person becomes weak-minded. He cannot take decisions very strongly, right? So, and these are actually pillar. Just like a pillar, we have 3 pillars. If one pillar falls down, another 2 pillars actually also falls down. So similarly, mind is also controlling other 2. If the mind is actually strong, then actually it can easily control the other 2, prana and virya. So similarly, if the prana is strong, then the mind and virya are controlled. So similarly, we have to protect this pillar of ourselves. Otherwise, we cannot stand. We cannot do some great things in life. We will be just doing we will just waste our life actually losing all these vital things, right? And the whole building will fall to pieces if we do not actually protect it. The more the wastage of semen, the more the weakness. If the virya is lost, prana gets unsteady, prana is agitated, the man becomes nervous, then the mind cannot work properly. The mind becomes fickle-minded. Fickle-minded means always changing. Nowadays, people are very much addicted to this social media. They actually TikTok. People actually just go like this, Instagram, Facebook. They want to just move because actually the mind is very fickle-minded. Because actually mind wants to actually some engagement. Mind cannot stay on one place. Mind wants actually engagement again and again. So that's why people become mental weakness. People develop mental weakness. So we understand that. So this problem can be solved. Let us actually see. And this problem actually leads to another problem. Person thinks that I can do this, it's okay for me to do that. Then the person does another problem is that people are very much addicted to pornography. So we have seen that many of the people, it is said, actually I have statistics which say that 70% on the people who search on Google, they search for actually such things which are related to pornography. Right? 70% of the searches. And it is said the country which actually searches or downloads most pornography is actually, you know what is the country? Actually, it's India. India is actually the most, in the top ranked country, which is actually mostly actually in this. And more than, it is said, the people of this age of 13 to 29, mostly actually 70% of the boys are addicted to pornography. More than 70% are addicted to pornography. So these actually are the problems. These actually, many people are not able to give it up. It's like 40% are become very much addicted. And first time, average age a person gets introduced into this pornography is actually 11 years. You can imagine that person becomes 11 and he starts like, having these impressions. And that's why when a person actually constantly impelled by this social media, constantly impelled by this, like, so many sites, bad sites, then the person actually gets so many bad impressions. Garbage goes inside, that's why garbage comes out. That's why people actually indulge in so many crimes like rape, crimes actually sexual abuse. All these are caused because of people are getting all the bad impressions through all these addictions. So if people ask, is it good or not? Actually, answer is, it's not good. It's not good for you and it's not good for the society. So it's better that actually you give up this bad habits. So how to give up these bad habits? So first thing is that whenever you have this smartphone, actually this increase of this people actually started increasing in all those things after this free internet. People actually started using too much actually. That's why people, very young children also started actually getting addicted to this. So first of all, if you are addicted to that, then first thing you have to do is you actually put a parental control in your smartphone. If you have a smartphone, parental control, or better actually use a button phone. Right? And if you have a parental control, or you can use the laptop or use the PC or use the smartphone in a public place when actually your parents are there or friends are there. If you want to give up this habit, there's no other way. Actually, you have to start actually working on it. The more you actually develop, the more actually you get into this habit. It's very difficult to give up otherwise. Right? So better actually we start by actually putting restrictions, saying no to distractions, saying strongly no to the distractions, and manage eating habits. Actually in the previous session we were discussing how to become to mode of goodness. So we have discussed about eating in the mode of goodness. So we have to eat food in the mode of goodness. We should not eat actually, if you eat food in the mode of passion and ignorance, then actually it will lead to more and more such desires, and it will be difficult to control. If a person is eating too much passionate food, like too much spicy, too much salty, too much all these things, then it's difficult to control the mind. What we eat, we become. So we have to eat very controlled way, and don't contemplate. By contemplating again and again on the desires, it increases. So better actually stop contemplation. And all this actually sometimes to give up something is sometimes appears difficult, but it is easy to take it up. Right? Just like, for example, if you have a bottle and you want to actually vacuum the bottle, if you want to remove the entire air from the bottle, it's very difficult. But you can do one more thing, that you can insert inert gas like nitrogen, inert gas you can insert into it, or some argon or krypton you can insert in that jar. Then actually you can easily remove the air in that. So similarly, to bring out bad things is difficult, but if you increase good things, then actually we can see that it's very easy to throw out the bad things. So let us now discuss the positive aspects of controlling our senses. So do's, what are the do's? So strongly say yes to positive spiritual engagements. There is only one solution, and taking to positive spiritual engagements. We are actually engaged into material things. Our mind, our senses want some engagement. They want to do something, but let us give them some positive engagements so that they don't go to negative direction. So what are the positive engagements? Do some physical activities, like do some yoga asanas, do some actually exercises, bodily exercises, so that actually our passion can actually drain out. right? Best actually if you do Surya Namaskar every day, it actually leads to a lot of draining out of most of energy. So a person actually calms down, and if you do pranayam, if you do this yoga, if you learn, it's very nice. And do some physical services. If you have a chance to do some services to actually some temple, then actually that will be very nice, right? Physical services in some temple, that will be very nice. So if you serve some, actually do some, engage in some service to God, that actually purifies the fastest, right? So try to do some service, because in the previous at least 10-20 years before, people used to have these festivals like Ramanavami, Janmashtami. So they used to big festivals, and they used to do services to Lord Ram, to Lord Krishna, and by doing service to God, automatically the senses got purified. So we need to give engagement to the senses. And next, whenever this problem lies, whenever the desire comes to enjoy or to do that bad thing, then what we do? We loudly chant or attentively chant the names of Lord. By chanting the names of Lord, immediately Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare. By chanting the holy names like Ram, chanting the names of Krishna, one actually immediately that negative thoughts go out of the mind, right? So, and read some spiritual books before sleep. Sometimes actually people have this habit of before sleep, actually they have because in the night actually some people actually have this problem. So what they can do is that before sleep they can actually read some spiritual books, Bhagavad Gita or something, some spiritual books like Ramayana for actually 15 minutes. And if you read for 15 minutes and then sleep, then actually good thoughts, good dreams come. Otherwise bad dreams come, right? So, and best is actually if you have this problem, don't sleep in darkness. Try to have some small light. If you have a light, that will be better. Otherwise actually one may be getting tempted to do the wrong things, right? So, and hear some spiritual music like kirtans. Like if you hear some kirtans, like we have this Hare Krishna kirtan, that's very actually soothing, and that actually purifies the consciousness very much. If you hear that kirtans before sleeping or during the day, it purifies you very much. And praying to God fervently. Oh God, I am suffering from this problem. I am not able to control myself. Kindly help me to control myself. Self-control. So we pray to God. God actually helps. Prayers go up, blessings come down. So actually when we pray to God, automatically God sanctions us with the ability to control our senses. Because Krishna is called Rishikesha. Rishikesha means one who controls the senses. So God is controlling our senses. So if God wants, He can actually help us to control the senses to do right things. So we can pray to God because He is the ultimate controller. He can actually control even our senses. We can pray to Him. And we can reveal our heart. This is a very important point, is that whenever you have a problem, actually it is said, statistics say that only 10% of the people, 10% of the teenagers, they actually reveal to their parents that they are having this problem. Only 10%. Other 90% they actually hidingly do this, and they actually, that's a problem. So whenever you face this problem, whenever it is actually in the small stage, starting stage, better you go and seek some guidance. Maybe best is actually you can seek some guidance of a spiritual mentor who can actually give you some spiritual guidance, right? Many times actually we see that outside people actually give wrong guidance about how to deal with this problem. So if you take a spiritual guidance, spiritual mentorship, or you can take guidance from some experienced person, then actually we can see that actually we can overcome easily this problem. And actually it is said, if you try to cut the tree, it is very difficult, but if you try to remove the small plant, that is very easy. So when the plant is small, then only it is very easy to, when the weed is small, it is easy to remove, the roots come out. But when the weed becomes big, it is very difficult to remove it. So that's why when it is at a small stage only, we try to remove it and pluck out the weed, right? So that was the part we were discussing today. So this is a very important point. I hope actually it helped you in actually learning many of the important concepts regarding how to develop this sense control, right? So now I thank you for actually attending. Thank you for actually attending the session till now. So I would like that you can actually subscribe, like, and you can share this video. You can kindly share this video to your friends, because many of the friends may be actually needing this type of guidance, right? So you can share with them. And also I would request that kindly get enrolled for our free seminars. You can actually find those links in our description box. You can just click on this WhatsApp group. You can just join our WhatsApp group so that you can get updated with many of the assignments. We are also providing many assignments so that you can solve it and you can learn better learning experience, right? So thank you so much, and if you have any questions you can put it on comment box and we'll be answering you soon. Thank you so much.